Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to a moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our Metropolitan Lifestyles segment brought to you by ogpay.com, today we're featuring Dr. Kelly Powers. She graduated from Georgetown University as a fellow in diabetic limb care. She has published various research papers on limb salvage and intraoperative studies. Dr. Powers is best known for her time on national TV as an on air medical commentator. Kelly's personal passion, though, is fighting brain cancer, both for public awareness and the fight she battled as a patient. Kelly was diagnosed with an aggressive form of brain cancer. She has now had two successful brain surgeries, is now tumor and cancer free with no evidence of disease for almost 3 years. We'll ask her why she calls herself the luckiest unlucky girl. Now, the American Cancer Society's estimates for brain and spinal cord tumors in the United States include both adults and children, and about 25,000 of so malignant tumors of the brain or spinal cord will be diagnosed this year alone. Today, Kelly joins me to chat cheating death, health, career, and motherhood. Welcome to the show, Stunner.
Hi, thanks for having me on. This is wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to chat with you, and I'm glad you are cancer free and with us here today. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
So, brain and other nervous system cancer, Kelly, as you know, is the 10th leading cause of death for men and women. And it's estimated that about 19,000 or 20 so thousand deaths from primary cancer brain tumors will occur in the United States this year.
Mm-hmm.
And statistics dating back from 2020 estimates that about 255,000 people worldwide died from primary cancer brain tumors. Talk to me about the clinical trial that you used, in where you used your own DNA to create a personalized vaccine against brain cancer cells. This is fascinating.
Isn't it? I'm so grateful. And every day I do feel like the luckiest unlucky girl. Unlucky in the sense that I cannot believe this happened to me, but I'm lucky that I had all of these resources to get me through it. And so you asked about the study. So one of the studies is, in short, personalized vaccine. And so what that means is they took DNA from my tumor, sent it to Germany. I don't know what they did, but they concocted something for, it took about a month, and sent it back to me. And so the proper name for it is personalized mutation of derived tumor activation vaccines. It has to do with peptides of my DNA. So that's a mouthful. But again, basically, it's just a personalized vaccine that comes from my own DNA, which is fascinating and crazy, and not just with brain cancer, but with everything. I feel like, and I think I'm right here, that all of medicine is going in that direction, the direction of personalized medicine. I mean, that's going to help all of us in the end, not just brain cancer.
Without a doubt, regenerative medicine, stem cell therapy, and all of the above that we're talking about all goes into the bigger picture for medical breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Now, when did you realize something was wrong, and how long did it take for a diagnosis?
Mm-hmm. So again, luckiest unlucky girl. I had a seizure, and I know you're probably listening right now and saying, "How the heck is having a seizure a good thing?" Well, because I had a seizure so early on, it was about 3 to 4 months into the cancer. They project, and I was able to find it. So I had this massive seizure at my apartment in the West Village. I'll still remember this. My dad was showing up, thank God, and the plumber. So because of those reasons, they found me on the floor. I mean, this sounds like a contrived story, and it gets worse. But yeah, so the seizure happened, and in dramatic fashion, like you would think in a movie, you know, foaming from the mouth and blood everywhere. And I won't go into too much detail about it. But of course, I was shipped over to the hospital where they did a CT scan immediately. And they did the CT scan and they found a tumor. And we were all just like dumbfounded.
And you were all
cannot believe it.
otherwise healthy? There was no
Ah,
symptoms, issues, nothing?
I had a heart issue previously, but it unrelated. This was unrelated. Well, they think it could have been from different medications I was on from my heart that could have sparked something. But overall, it is not a genetic illness. Like a lot of times it's unknown. It's unknown what happens, why it happens. They do have some evidence that shows that women do significantly better, which I'm grateful, and also young. So I'm kind of young. I hope I'm
You're young. You're young. You're a millennial. You're a
Right.
millennial. You're a millennial. You are young. You're by no means old, by no means
Right.
unhealthy, by no, you
Right.
don't fit the check marks there.
Exactly.
So you're now a mom. Talk to me about what motherhood is like while battling cancer, of course, looking at your child and grappling with the thought that you will not get to see them grow up. I hold back tears asking the question. How did that feel? And did you conceive or did you become creative while you were battling cancer because your son Bennett is now 2 years old?
Yes. These are all great questions. And so I didn't go public with it, but hey, we'll go public with it now. I had a surrogate, and the reason was because of my prior heart history and the fact that I was afraid, they were afraid of my brain having inflammation. I had pericarditis and pericardial effusion, which led to cardiac tamponade. That's a lot of words that basically mean my heart was swollen with fluid. And because of that reason, which I have recovered mostly, there's still some side effects. That was the reason my cardiologist said, I don't advise you to get pregnant. So that's what we did. So we ended up finding a wonderful surrogate. Her name is Sarah, shout out. And she lives in Kansas.
God bless you, Sarah and
I
Kansas.
know, right? And all the women who do surrogacy, there's a special place in your heart to have that,
100%.
Just the love and to help someone else, some other family. So we had the surrogacy, and we were just about to find out if it took. And we sent her back to Kansas. Did it take? And the most unbelievable, horrible thing happened is that I had a seizure in the middle of all this within a couple of days of implanting in the surrogate. And I actually found out, and this is a true crazy story, but as they were wheeling me into brain surgery, a craniotomy, my brain surgeon is the one who told me, hey, just so you know, it took, and you're pregnant. And I'm just like,
Oh
I'm
my
on like all these crazy drugs because it's like they're
goodness.
put me into surgery, and I was just like, is this really happening? So, but anyway, my family found out a little bit before then, and they weren't going to tell me. They were going to tell me, and they're like, no, we're going to tell her. So when she wakes up, recovery will be better, and she'll be inspired, and that is what happened. So you asked me about motherhood, and I mean, of course, anyone who has a baby, whether it be surrogate or not, is delighted. I mean, it's the most amazing thing to see a baby that is yours and your husband's. And I mean, I don't have to tell you or any of the audience, but there was this underlying fear, and just almost this, not regret, but I was so pissed. Is this a word I could say on TV? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I was like
I would be too.
angry. I was just like, how can you take away this amazing moment in my life? So I've only known my baby with cancer, and that is just not a thing I'd like to think about. I have one of the worst cancers known to man, and it's called glioblastoma. Again, luckiest unlucky girl. I think we mentioned this already, but I got it when I was young, and a lot of other factors played into my success, and that is that it was very small. It was it was my parietal lobe, and it was very small. It was superficial, like kind of right. The surgeon said it was probably the easiest surgery we've ever done, which is good. They caught it really early. And I have a special gene called the methylated gene. And thank goodness I have it. People who have it do much better than people who don't. And basically what the methylated gene does is allow for chemo to work, to actually infiltrate into the blood-brain barrier and work. If you don't have the methylated gene, it doesn't really do its job.
This is so touching. I mean, like you're making me almost cry here. So you navigated this time in your life very effectively. You had a surrogate. You have a beautiful baby, Bennett. Now he's 2 years old. You're cancer free, to my understanding, correct?
Yes. Well, with brain cancer, they don't like to say cancer free, and
Right.
I hate that, right? Because I always want to say cancer free, but yes, they
Yeah.
call it no evidence of disease
Good.
because it's in your brain. And unlike other cancers, let's use an example of breast cancer. Unfortunately, that this happens to many women, but a lot of them are able to do a mastectomy. So they can cut out, right, the disease, the cancer. With your brain, you can't cut off your brain, right? You can't cut off your head. So that's the problem here. And so it potentially could still live in there. But there's no evidence of disease. So nothing's growing, nothing's showing, there's no tumors visible, and I have no real side effects, just kind of what I've had from the start, some issues. I'm lucky that it was in the parietal lobe, which is again back here. Certain lobes, you can lose your voice, you can go blind, you can not have cognition defects and not be able to speak correctly or even memory. And the thought of all that just scares me. I'm blessed that it was in
God had a bigger plan for you. And anytime you doubt God or fate, you probably, at the end of the day, you of all people have now realized, you don't question the process. God has a bigger plan for you, and he's never going to let you down. And I think you learned that. And I think listening to you, I even learned that for sure. Blessed, count your blessings,
Yeah.
kind of moment there. But of course, the bittersweetness of what you're battling and seeing your beautiful boy grow up is, of course, you always have to question, what if, and plan for the worst, but hope for the best and build as many memories as you can. You don't have anything to worry about now, other than spending cherished moments with your family and keeping your head up strong, which you're doing. So talk to me about that one organization that you say helped save your life and change it all. Because I know that, social activism is extremely important to you. Raising attention and funding for research is important to you. And brain cancer is now the deadliest childhood cancer in the US, ahead of
Right.
leukemia.
Right.
And that's a result of improved leukemia treatment, right? And
Right.
it's frustrating because it's a frustrating lack of progress on brain cancer. But May is Brain Cancer Awareness Month. Who do you want to give a shout out to?
So I'd like to bring a shout out to Stash Strong. If anybody is interested in donating to brain cancer, Stash Strong is by far the best one, especially in my opinion. The money goes to where it's supposed to go, and it goes to research that saved my life, right? This personalized tumor. This is where the research went. Tons of money went into it, and we don't have a lot more. So it's one of those, I saw a stat. It was, well, 5 to 12%, and it varies based on the type of brain cancer, will not survive. Let me rephrase that. 5 to 12% will survive. So that's a large amount of people that don't live. I mean, it's to say, I remember they told me I had a 5% chance of living. How do you even wrap your head around that? It's just, even saying it gives me the chills. 5%. So then if you go down the line, you look at breast cancer, about 75 to 95% of women with breast cancer are treated and cancer-free, which is wonderful. But can we emulate that? We need the funding. That's the problem. How do we get funding? And I heard another stat. It was only 4% of all cancer research and money that goes into philanthropic endeavors, 4% goes into brain cancer. And that's where things need to change. So Stash Strong is all about getting funds, philanthropic funds for brain cancer research. They also do really fun things like a 5K that's coming up. I believe it is in September. October, there's a fundraiser in Midtown Manhattan, which everyone could go to. In May, they're doing I think another a golf tournament in Jupiter, Florida. So there's a fun things. I think everyone should try to just go on the site, see what they have. If something fits your schedule, that would be great. And even if you donate $1, if you donate $1 and someone donates 10 million, it's okay. Like, we appreciate it. Another thing, I brought up the stats before about 5% to 95%. Think about those stats. What would you do if you had those stats? How is there hope? Because I'm luckiest unlucky girl, I keep saying it over and over. I am a little higher than 5%. And again, just my age alone makes me about 30%-ish survival rate. And then that kept going up based on all the other parameters of the small tumor and location and everything I went over before. I feel like,
Wow. Well, you have gone through a lot, my dear girl, a lot. And I take my hat off to you from one mom to the next. You are a trailblazer. Continue to be you and shine and spread love and awareness. And I think you're going to be okay. In fact, I know it. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me. It was a pleasure.
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That was our Metropolitan Lifestyles segment brought to you by ogpay.com. And that was the amazing Dr. Kelly Powers. Do check her out on the gram at Dr. Kelly Powers. And make sure you check out this amazing organization, stashstrong.org, or you could head to their Instagram handle at stashstrong. Stash being short for mustache. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Caldwell Soames Incorporated, investing globally in transformative businesses like Original Digital Corporation, or ODC. ODC develops advanced consumer and commercial fintech solutions such as OGPay, which will transform the way you manage your money. From sending and receiving money globally for free, paying for goods and services in person and online, pay bills, buy and sell digital currencies, all while earning interest. OGPay is easy to set up, FDIC insured, and your information is secured. Check out ogpay.com.